I've been very lucky. I've worked nearly all of my adult life from home. Now the upside is that I've been present the whole time my kids were growing up, which makes me feel blessed, wealthy and fortunate beyond compare. However, the downside is I became a master chronic procrastinator. Procrastination and work from home go together like bread and butter, Hansel and Gretel, Sonny and Cher. In other words, almost impossible to think of one without the other. But the good news is, I now consider myself to be a world-class expert on procrastination. I can procrastinate my life away with the best of them, which means I can totally relate to other chronic procrastinators that you may know, you may even know them really well in fact. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not claiming to be an expert on the best ways to stop procrastinating, modesty forbids. But over the last couple of years, during the long COVID lockdowns, I've made it my business to discover exactly how to stop work from home procrastination by learning from the folk who are qualified to call themselves the experts. And my job here on this How to Stop Procrastinating YouTube channel is to communicate to you the best of the best that I have learned and applied successfully to my own chronic procrastination issues. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button to be notified every time I post a new video about how to stop procrastinating. There's an absolute ton of things we can do to break the chronic procrastination habit and get ourselves into massive productivity anytime that old habit stressfully resurfaces. And I'm going to be sharing those tools and insights right here on this channel. So hit the subscribe button, sit back and enjoy the latest installment here on the How to Stop Procrastinating YouTube channel. If you have or have had a job in the workplace where there are other employees and bosses watching almost your every move, then you will likely appreciate that procrastination was not and is not a regular feature of your working day. But working from home is an entirely different beastie. And to get straight to the point, in this video I'm going to reveal to you exactly how we can recreate a procrastination-free workplace at home without losing the real pleasures of working from home too. Stay with me right to the end as I will be revealing a fantastic tool that I'm using as I sit here talking to you, and it's really working powerfully right now at dampening my chronic procrastination urges. First though, I'm going to guide you through some general principles that when you fully understand them will help you to appreciate better how to beat work from home procrastination. The power of routine. There's no doubt about it, to a greater or lesser extent, we're all creatures of habit and love routine. Why? Well, primarily a good strong routine feeds our needs for certainty in our lives, and whilst I appreciate you can also have far too much certainty, let's be honest, routine is a major part of life in the non-home workplace, so it's going to be important to build it into our work from home environment too. Now you'll have your own routine, but this is mine. After showering and shaving, I make myself a delicious coffee on my old espresso machine. I love the ritual of making coffee properly, and that, along with a pleasant burst of caffeine, really helps to clear my mind in preparation for the day. Now, I like to drink my coffee whilst doing something unrelated to work. I run a large local history Facebook group, so I tend to deal with queries from that whilst I'm happily slurping away. I purposefully do not check my emails. I don't like working to other people's agendas, and often my email list contains things that need my attention but will inevitably take me away from my own priorities. So I'll get to them after lunch, once I have some work hours firmly under my belt. Next, I will check in with my action list. I like to use the free Trello. There's a paid side, but I only need the free side. It's good enough for an individual. Now this virtual notice board is helpful for keeping track of all the balls I'm keeping in the air at the same time. One of the hardest things to do is to remember everything you've promised yourself and others that you want to get around to doing. So even if I know I won't have time to go through that photography workshop I bought last month, it's still on my list and I notice it every day. It's not forgotten, and equally, it's just not been scheduled yet as a priority over other things. I'm not a big fan of having a basic to-do list. Instead, I break things into categories which are listed under my outcomes and results that I'm working towards, and I make sure I understand why those things matter to me, and I write that down. Effective planning is a big topic and is completely outside of this short video. I will cover that in a future video. For now though, just make sure you include in your daily routine time for planning out the day. I also like to plan out what I'm going to be eating and drinking that day, at least for the working part. If time is going to be short, I may even have prepared my food the night before and put it in the fridge. Finally, and by no means least, the kids. Now my kids aren't kids anymore, so I don't have to think about that. However, the one thing you're sure to have at home, and not typically in the formal workplace, are your kids. I wish I could pretend there's an easy one-size-fits-all method for dealing with the distractions our kids create for us when we're working from home. But the reality is, every family is different. From sending the kids to a nursery, school, babysitter, nanny, to just hypnotising them with a games machine in their bedrooms, we all have our own individual ways of looking after our kids. Let's just say this, working from home and dealing with the kids is never easy. Suffice to say, you have to come up with your own ways of doing that. I'm sure you don't need and wouldn't appreciate my advice on how to parent your kids. What I can say though is that however you do it, you're going to need to build in flexibility to your daily routine to allow for the predictable and unpredictable events our kids' lives inevitably throw at us. If you're up against a hard deadline and you have young kids, you're going to get stressed. So, get creative in your planning around the kids, get resourceful, and above all, never give up. Every work from home parent knows what you are going through, and in the end, there is always a way. Comment below if you have any useful things you do in your daily routine to get yourself prepared for work, and if you're a parent and have found a creative way for dealing with the distractions your kids create, let us know about that too. Next, make sure you schedule into your day intentional, permitted distraction times. There's nothing worse than being told or telling yourself that you can't have something. Look, I don't eat junk food. I love junk food too much, but I don't eat it because I hate the way it makes me feel unhealthy. Now, I have not always been this way. It's only since I started mastering my chronic procrastination that I've finally really got it handled. I don't tell myself I can't have something. On the contrary, I tell myself I can have something. I just don't feel the need to have it all the time or in such large quantities. So if my son, for example, orders takeout pizza, I love pizza, he knows that 9 times out of 10 it's all his. But every now and then, he dutifully hands over a slice to me. He knows I don't want his whole pizza, but that one slice, or even a piece of that slice, is usually enough to calm the desire in me for more. I've lost over 40 pounds doing this, by the way. So when I say don't deny yourself some intentional distractions like playing games, checking your social media feeds, etc. as part of your regular routine, I know what I'm talking about. It'll satiate your chronic procrastination desire to procrastinate another day away. Just knowing that you can, if you want to, feed your distraction habit later frees your mind to focus in the meantime on your work. Quick reality check here. If you're going to be successful and productive today, you need to understand that you will always overestimate what you can achieve in one day and very likely underestimate what you can achieve in a longer time frame. So make sure you build flexibility into your planning. Finally, before sharing my top tip for today, build some hard deadlines into your schedule. In the not-at-home workplace, we always have deadlines we have to meet or face the consequences if we don't. In the work-from-home environment, a lot of these hard deadlines become loose or non-existent deadlines, which is why the chronic procrastinator's mantra, "I'll do it tomorrow," takes over our lives. And it's also why a lot of successful work from home people hire accountability coaches like me. They understand the whole, the power, the influence a hard deadline has over their ability to sit down and actually work. Heck, even I've got an accountability coach, because even though I've learned all this stuff and I'm applying it to my own life to deal with my own chronic procrastination, having my own accountability coach is the one thing that completely tips me full on into highly productive work every single time. Now, I promised you a bonus tip, and here it is. It's a brilliant little app that works across Windows, Apple and Android platforms, and it's called Freedom 2. I've literally just started using it, and I'm already wondering how I ever managed without it. When I was studying for a university degree, I completed it just before COVID appeared. If I wanted to make real headway on my work, I would take my laptop, my textbooks and my highlighter pen and adjourn to the coffee shop. I still had internet there, but it was slow and I wasn't tempted to use it much. In the couple of hours I sat in the coffee shop until my bottom got numb from sitting, I got more done than I would normally get done in a week. No joke! But how to create this at home has long vexed me. I can't turn the internet off, I work on it. But I sure wish I could get rid of the distracting parts of it. Welcome Freedom 2. Configured properly, you can set it up to turn off the parts of the internet you know you lose your working day to anytime they are available. And you can set it to turn them off across your PCs and your phone. It's all done on a timer, so I go for the default Pomodoro 25 minutes of focused time. After 25 minutes, the alarm goes off and everything is available again. Yay! I can feed my distraction monkey, check my messages, make sure my Facebook group hasn't melted down, and then, having fetched a refreshing beverage, I go in for another 25 minutes of distraction-free time. Bliss! As I'm sat here making this video, I'm absolutely twitching to go check my messages. Seriously, I really am. Chronic procrastination and me, we're like blood brothers. But I can't, and I absolutely love that. It's not for long, but it's long enough for me to get stuff done that really matters to me. Go try it out for yourself. At the time of publication of this video, it gives you up to 7 free trial periods. That was enough time to iron out some of the configuration kinks to get it to your own preferences and feel it working at making you more productive. There is a small fee to pay to keep using it, but it's not horrendous, and in any case, as far as I'm concerned, the benefit it's giving me, focused, productive work from home time, is priceless. Time to get to work, so please comment below if you found this video helpful and hop over to the Facebook page for more tips, hints and support. My name is Robin J. Emdon. Subscribe and tune in to the next video on this YouTube channel where you can finally discover how to stop procrastinating and live your own life on your own terms.